Hi, everybody. Welcome. Robert Williamson getting set to resume action in the ACCC. The game of the week coming up. USC Salkehatchie taking on Wallace State. Hands full. Weather getting colder. Basketball, it's getting hotter as we prepare for conference play just about a week away. On this edition of This Week in the ACCC, we're going to check out the players of the week. We'll talk about a limited basketball schedule between the holidays, get you the latest standings in JCAA basketball polls, and maybe just a little bit more. It's all on this edition of This Week in the ACCC.
Wallace State offers associate degree and certificate programs in Alabama's hottest job fields. Every year this decade, almost 3,800 new workers will enter these fields. Will you be one of them? Be one of us. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This week in the ACCC, we're in Hanceville, Alabama, getting set for the game of the week. We'll talk about that in a moment. But before we talk about what's coming up, we got to talk about what happened in the past, and specifically the players of the week. First of all, for the guys, Trey James of Snead State, named to that honor. The freshman guard from Madison, Alabama, helped the Parsons to a 2-0 record the week prior to the holidays. He averaged 14 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, and a couple of steals per outing. 10 of 16 from the floor, including 4 of 8 from behind the line. He also tallied 16 assists versus just 4 turnovers, and he currently leads the ACCC in that category. I mentioned between the holidays for the men, it was a very limited schedule in basketball. As a matter of fact, only Shelton State seeing action. They traveled down to Florida to play a little round ball. Won 2 out of 3. Meatloaf says that ain't bad. And they came away with victories over Atlanta Metropolitan College, Florida Nationals JV, before losing to a ranked Eastern Florida State squad. How about the standings in the ACCC as we get near the end of non-conference play? Up in the North Division, there's a familiar face. They won it all a year ago, and they are back atop the ACCC. Again, that's before conference play, but hats off to Marion Military College, who, going into the holiday break, got on a 5-game win streak. Shelton State, which hadn't lost any games until they got beyond Christmas, still near the top with that 13-2 record in the North. And then, of course, you see all the other squads: Southern Union, Snead State, Wallace State, Hanceville, Gadsden State, and Lawson State. Meanwhile, in the South, you've got Chatton Valley with the best record at 10-3. Wallace Community College out of Selma is 10-5, the only 2 teams that have won into the double digits. And then you've got Bishop State at 7-4, Faulkner State 6-4, and then, of course, Alabama Southern, LBW, Enterprise State, and Jefferson Davis. What about the latest NJCAA men's college basketball polls? Well, the latest polls came out on the 20th day of December, so there will be some changes. The next poll does not come out until the 10th day of January, so next Tuesday will be the newest NJCAA polls. Of course, South Plains still atop those polls just prior to the holidays. Hutchinson, Georgia Highlands, a squad that we saw in the ACCC network as they took on Gadsden State. They are ranked number 3. Moberly area is 4, San Jacinto Central 5, and there you see the rest of the squads in the 10, and then on down you go into the next 10, and that's where, well, just beyond, you will see an ACCC squad. Shelton State ranked 21, Marion Military Institute ranked 25. And again, the polls that came out prior to Christmas, when the new polls come out, Shelton State likely falls, but Marion Military Institute likely climbs. That's how it happened on the men's side of basketball. Let's check out the ladies next, right after the break, on This Week in the ACCC.
Wallace State offers associate degree and certificate programs in Alabama's hottest job fields. Every year this decade, almost 3,800 new workers will enter these fields. Will you be one of them? Be one of us. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This week in the ACCC, I'm Robert Williamson. Well, we talked about the gentlemen. Let's talk about the ladies and how they have fared in basketball. First of all, just prior to the holidays, another Snead State Parson is picked as the player of the week. Janita Henry of Snead State, product of Bibb County, averaged 24 points and better than 4 rebounds per outing, and leading the Parsons, the Lady Parsons, to a 2-0 record the week prior to Christmas, beating Roane State 91-61. She had 28 points, and in the victory over Southern Crescent, 20 points. Congratulations to Janita. Again, a limited schedule as far as basketball played by the ladies between the holidays. Not a particularly kind week of basketball for Shelton State. They went into Christmas unbeaten. They go into the new year with a couple of losses, played in a Christmas Classic in Pensacola and lose to Pensacola State, and then lost to Seward County Community College. Meanwhile, the Lady Lions of Wallace State Hansville got some basketball in over the holidays, beating Southwest Tennessee Community College. What about the standings for the ladies? Well, if you look to the north, you've got Shelton State, despite those couple of losses, still atop the standings, not far behind Lawson State, an impressive squad that we had a chance to see earlier in the season in non-conference play. Snead State, Wallace State Community College, followed by Southern Union and Gadsden State. Obviously some tough play in the north. And the south, Enterprise State is the top team in the south with a 4-3 marker, just above the 500 mark. Chat Valley is at the 500 mark and 2, and then everybody else a little below that 500 record with Faulkner State, Lane B. Wallace, Bishop State, Wallace State, and Alabama Southern. The latest NJCAA basketball poll for the ladies, well, in the rankings very high. Shelton State, they are ranked number 4. That, of course, again, is a poll that came out on the 20th of December. The next polls aren't due out until the 10th of January. So, unfortunately, those will change, and Shelton State will fall in those polls that happened in December. Gulf Coast State, number 1, Odessa 2. You've got Chipola at number 3, of course. Shelton State, the number 4 squad. Trinity Valley at number 5. All very familiar names if you keep up with what's going on in ladies basketball in the NJCAA. And there you see 2. The rest of the rankings, 1 through 5, we've already given you. 5 through 25 as well. Well, let's wrap things up after the break with info on where we're at, what we're doing tonight, and what's coming up next week as we resume the ACCC. Games of the week, this is the ACCC, This Week in It.
Wallace State offers associate degree and certificate programs in Alabama's hottest job fields. Every year this decade, almost 3,800 new workers will enter these fields. Will you be one of them? Be one of us. Get in a Wallace state of mind. Wallace State offers associate degree and certificate programs in Alabama's hottest job fields. Every year this decade, almost 3,800 new workers will enter these fields. Will you be one of them? Be one of us. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to This Week in the ACCC. Well, there you have it, Players of the Week, how the standings are currently, the NJCAA polls, all that's going to start to change now as the most significant part of the season begins and we formulate who's going to be playing at Lawson State in Birmingham in March for the ACCC title on both the men's and women's side. Tonight, it's the ACCC Game of the Week. As we get back to the action, USC Salkehatchie is in Hansville to take on the Lions of Wallace. Only one game this afternoon. Typically, it's a doubleheader. Not true tonight, as you've got just the men playing, which ironically is the case on Tuesday as well, when the ACCC Sports Network heads to Brewton, Alabama. Jeff Davis playing host to LBW. It's a 7 o'clock game that night, but again, it's men's action only, the ACCC Game of the Week. Thanks so much for watching This Week in the ACCC. Good to be back. We're ready to get basketball back underway. I'm Robert Williamson. Your producer has been James Crenshaw. We'll see you next time for This Week in the ACCC.